this Christmas on BBC1 and the story of the Mayflower, the Pilgrim Fathers, a new world, and a conflict of ideals.
You've never met an Indian, have you, Mr. Bradford?
No, Captain Standish. Have you?
Well, I have my information.
They're savages. Everyone knows that.
If we creep up on them like savages, they'll very likely be savages. If we come as friends, perhaps they'll be friends.
Well, Mr. Bradford is right. And why should these Indians behave any differently from us? And what would we do if a band of foreigners landed on our coast and started to build a town?
There's room enough for us both.
This is territory, Mr. Bradford. If we want it, we must fight for it.
You live in your world, Mr. Billington, and I'll live in mine.
New World on Sunday at 10 o'clock on BBC1.
And now on BBC One, here's Barry Norman to introduce our movie classic.
Good evening. Now, who do you suppose said this? As for human comedy, I think I never was as good as in The Shop Around the Corner. Never did I make a picture in which the atmosphere and the character were truer. Who said that? Well, actually, it was Ernst Lubitsch, and I'm very glad he did, because the classic we have for you tonight, by remarkable coincidence, is The Shop Around the Corner. It's a tiny picture that was made in 1940 in less than 4 weeks and cost barely $500,000. But classics and works of art don't have to be big or costly, and in some ways it's the very smallness and simplicity of The Shop Around the Corner that makes it so effective. The story is of two shop assistants in Budapest, James Stewart and Margaret Sullivan, who don't actually like each other very much, and besides, each is in love with an anonymous pen pal whose identity's wild horses wouldn't ring from me at this stage. The film was made when Lubitsch, the absolute master of sophisticated romantic comedy, was probably at his peak. The year before, he directed Ninotchka, and in 1942 he was to make To Be or Not to Be, the most glorious monument to bad taste that the cinema ever produced. The Shop Around the Corner is no less splendid than either of the other two films, though it is very different. The performances and the direction make it all look deceptively slight and easy. But when Van Johnson and Judy Garland remade the picture 10 years later and called it In the Good Old Summertime, they came a tremendous cropper. But then their film didn't have the Lubitsch touch.